All right, let's get right into it. We all have things about ourselves we want to improve, right? Maybe get fitter, read more books, or just stop procrastinating. But actually making those changes stick? Well, that's the really hard part. So today, we're going to break down a super powerful system to finally make those good habits last and, yes, get rid of the bad ones for good. So, let's start with a question I think we've all asked ourselves probably around, I don't know, the second week of January every year. Why are big goals so hard to achieve? We start with all this motivation, this huge burst of energy, and then it just fizzles out and we end up right back where we started. It turns out the problem might not actually be you. It's probably your approach. And this slide, this right here, is the whole game. We are obsessed with goals, the destination. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to write a novel. But the real engine of change, the thing that actually gets you there, isn't the goal. It's the system you follow. That's your direction. See, goals are about the results you want, but systems are about the processes that actually lead to those results. Now, check out this tiny number, just 1%. The core idea here is that these remarkable long-term results we're all after, they don't come from some massive, heroic effort you make one weekend. No, they come from the compounding effect of getting just 1% better every single day. It feels like nothing at the time, but trust me, over a year, it's mind-blowing how far you'll be from where you started. Okay, so how do we actually do this? How do we build a system for that 1% improvement? Well, that brings us to the 4 laws of change, a simple, really practical framework for building good habits and, just as important, for breaking the bad ones. But before we jump into the laws, you gotta understand the basic science of a habit. Every single habit you have, good, bad, whatever, it follows this exact 4-step loop. First, there's a cue that triggers your brain. That cue leads to a craving, which is a motivation to act. Then comes the response, the actual habit itself. And finally, you get a reward, which satisfies that craving and basically tells your brain, hey, remember this, let's do it again. And here it is. This table is basically the roadmap for everything. It lays out the 4 laws of change perfectly. And notice how for every law, there's a rule to build a good habit and then the exact opposite to break a bad one. So let's start with law number 1. The cue. To build a good habit, you have to make it obvious. You want to practice guitar? Don't hide it in the closet. Put it on a stand right in the middle of your living room. And to break a bad habit, you just do the reverse. Make it invisible. Get the junk food out of the house. It's simple, but it is so effective. Next up, law number 2, which is all about the craving. To make a good habit stick, you've got to make it attractive. There's a great technique for this called temptation bundling. You just pair an action you want to do with an action you need to do. Like you only let yourself watch your favorite Netflix show while you're on the treadmill. To break a bad habit, you just flip it. You make it unattractive by really focusing on all the downsides. That takes us to law number 3, the response. Now this one is crucial. You have to make it easy. The 2-minute rule is golden here. You just scale down any new habit so it takes less than 2 minutes. So read before bed becomes read 1 page. The point isn't to be perfect, it's about mastering the art of just showing up. And to break a bad habit, you guessed it, make it difficult. Add as much friction as you can. And finally, we land on law number 4, the reward. For a good habit to actually stick around, it has to make it satisfying. Here's the problem. A lot of good habits have rewards that are way off in the future, so you need to give yourself an immediate win, something like putting a big X on a calendar every day you do it. That little hit of satisfaction reinforces the whole loop. And to break a bad habit, you make it unsatisfying. Think of an immediate, tangible consequence. Okay, so we've totally covered the how, the practical nuts and bolts steps for building habits. But now we're going to get into something much, much deeper, the why. This is where we make the jump from just doing things to fundamentally being a different kind of person. This quote, this really gets to the absolute heart of it. I mean, you can force yourself to go to the gym for a few weeks, but if you don't actually see yourself as a healthy person, you're going to stop eventually. The most powerful, lasting changes happen when our habits become a part of who we are, our identity. And look at the difference here. It's subtle, but it's profound. The goal isn't to read a book, the goal is to become a reader. The goal isn't to run a marathon, the goal is to become a runner. See, when you focus on the identity you want to have, your behaviors just naturally start to line up with it. You start asking yourself, what would a healthy person do in this situation? And this, right here, is the key takeaway. Every single action you take is like casting a vote for the type of person you want to become. Every time you write just 1 sentence, you're casting a vote for, I'm a writer. Every time you practice for 1 minute, you're casting a vote for, I'm a musician. These tiny little habits are the proof that you show yourself,
that this new identity is real. So let's bring all this together now. This isn't about some 30-day challenge or a quick fix that's going to magically change your life. This is about building a lifelong system for continuous improvement, where the real focus is on the process itself, not just on one single outcome. So the ultimate goal actually shifts. It stops being about hitting some finish line. Instead, it becomes about committing to a system of deliberate practice and checking in with yourself. It's about falling in love with the process of getting better and understanding that mastery isn't a destination, it's a path you're always on. And look at that, we've come full circle, right back to that tiny 1%. But now we can see it for what it really is. That 1% improvement, it's not just about getting results. It's your daily vote for the person you want to become. It is the small, atomic-level action that builds your identity from the ground up. So as we wrap this up, I'm going to leave you with this one final, really important question. Forget about the huge, life-altering changes for just a second. Based on everything we just talked about, what is one tiny, obvious, easy, and satisfying habit you can start tomorrow? What 2-minute action will cast that first vote for the identity you really want to build? Thanks for joining me.